Welcome to the Olivia Gamber podcast, a place where you unlock your maximum potential while living aligned. Here we dive deep into strategies, stories, and insights that will evolve and expand your mind and spirit. If you're ready to live an exceptional life, then I encourage you to stay committed to this transformational journey and be sure to tune in every week.
Hello, welcome back to another episode. And today I'm really excited to talk about career elevation. And this is a brand new program that I am partnering with Ryan Mainberg on being able to just really upgrade your personal brand, your presence, how you're showing up, your mindset, and your communication to be able to be seen and influenced at that executive level. And man, we speak to hundreds of people a week that are struggling and feeling like a pawn in the game, like they're not even seen, they're not getting the exposure, they're not even being considered. And so there's nothing more frustrating than feeling like you're so talented and you have so much value that isn't being utilized and you're stuck. So I wanted to partner with Ryan on this particular opportunity because Ryan has not only been through the Career Evolve process. He's a certified executive coach with Career Evolve, but he's also a high-level operational consultant. So he's rapidly been able to break through in his career because I noticed something about Ryan. He has the natural charisma, that ability to build those strategic relationships and get a CEO on the phone and really like become their best friend instantly, and his ability to be relevant and add so much value. I mean, he blew me away. So that's why we're here together to share the secret sauce that no one's teaching. And once you're at a certain level, you can't focus on qualifications or you're going to get hit that ceiling. So, Ryan, thank you so much for making the time and having the conversation today.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me, Olivia.
Absolutely. So let's dive right in because there's so many problems that happen at that mid-level career path where you're just stuck and you can't seem to break through to get that exposure, get those projects, get that opportunity to really be valued and you just feel like you're not being heard or seen. Like, tell me, what's the biggest gap that you had to address in your mindset to get to that executive level?
Yeah, absolutely. So throughout my experience and so forth, I was so convinced that data points were the key to growth, whether it's financial and monetary, whether it's KPI, whether it's some sort of amazing cost saving solutions, or you just built the perfect plan to generate 5, 10, 15 million in the next quarter or the next 6 months worth of a company or wherever you're at. I had learned that it's so much more than just the specific data, but it's more about who you are, how you fit in, how you brand yourself, how you build strategic relationships, how you network, and how you take your success and all of your hard work that you have done as a middle level manager and know how to sell that to the executives or the VPs or the GMs in a way in which they're excited to listen and support you because they see what you have done tactically, but they also see how you can scale and grow their business to the next level. And that gap in that bridge requires so much additional training to be able to learn how to do so. But once you understand it and you connect with it, you are never the same as a business leader.
I love it. And, there's also some of the things that nobody wants to talk about. So I want to pull out what we've been hearing just from people in this career evolved community, talking to clients, people that just feel like they're stuck and they can't seem to break through. And the biggest thing is they're not getting credit for their work. They're not being given really the props or I would say just being seen for what they're actually offering. They're so behind the scenes or they're just not being able to be associated with the value. Tell me about how do you navigate that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, middle level management is basically the highest form of production leadership that you're able to see. You're a process driven leader. You know how to make money. You know how to fix bottlenecks, provide root causes, do all of the grind, all of the work, know all of the weeds, and you probably have an amazing team on how to you can support to fix those challenges and of course get to the next level. But in regards to how to see that as an executive or a VP or a GM, things along those lines, it's really important to be able to understand how you don't get stuck in thinking the fact that those numbers are going to be what gets you to that next level. And one thing that we're so excited at launch is the fact that how you can get seen as a next level executive, all of the things that are required for those can be taught when you know how to think and act like an executive in a mid-level manager role. Because once you see yourself at that mindset and you see yourself as a high-level decision maker in a production level capacity, you're indirectly branding yourself to the next level by elevating who you are as a leader and knowing how to get monetary results and also scale a business that your value becomes unmatched. And all of those areas can be taught. And that's what we're excited to be able to do.
I love this. And the idea of elevating your presence seems like an esoteric term. So I want to talk specifically about elevating communication because I speak to so many executives even that are already at the executive level, as well as high level, high achieving mid-level people that just are not resonating with the key stakeholders, those C-suite executives or senior VPs. And it's because they're speaking still in the weeds at a very tactical level. And here's the problem, guys, like those executives, especially at the C-suite, they have the attention span of a fly. They have 9 train tracks going in their mind at all times, and to be able to resonate with them, you need to elevate how you're speaking and from a more 30,000-foot view, right? And so there's other key pieces you need to shift in communication, and Ryan, you can get into that a little bit more, but I think people aren't even being heard because 'cause they're not resonating with the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So, over the course of my career, one thing that I have learned with talking to VPs or executives or CEOs is, as you just described, Olivia, their minds are all over the place, doing 9, 10 things at once. So it's important to know the fact that you leave an impression and you can do it quick. That is what's key. The fact that you're able to make an elevator pitch in about 10, 15, 20 seconds that keeps that CEO or executive still thinking about you the moment you leave the room, because that was the best 15 seconds that they had that day was when they were talking with you. Knowing what a CEO is listening to versus thinking you know what a CEO is listening to is two very different things. And you only have a limited time in order to capture those leaders to make sure you leave an impression that when they look to scale their company, you're the first person on their mind. It's tough to be able to do that, but it's definitely achievable once you learn exactly the proper steps and you elevate your presence and your mindset in addition to communication so that the entire pieces of the puzzle come together. And that's what we describe as knowing what that executive fit really looks like.
One of the things I admire about you, Ryan, that really I think has gotten you to break through so quickly with your career is just you have such a bold confidence where you have this fearless confidence to walk in to the CEO's office. And guys, this is exactly why I really leaned in to working with Ryan because he reminds me so much of myself. You've got to be bold and you've gotta own your value, and you've gotta drive that value because no one's gonna do it for you, not your manager, not your leader. It's gotta be you, and so if you're not owning that brand and getting that brand in front of the right people and getting them to see your value, you're waiting passively, and it's just not gonna happen, right? So I'd love for you to speak. How do you build this level of playing in between the lines, but also being bold enough to seize the opportunity?
Absolutely. So, one thing that connects with myself, Olivia, that you and I've also talked about off the record, of course, is the fact that CEOs want to connect with talent. They are excited. They have those conversations with their other CEO friends, their other VPs, their other executives. Hey, who do you know? Nobody wants to post a job on a job board. It's irritating on both sides. It's irritating for the hiring team. It's irritating to find talent. It's just difficult. Nobody wants to do it. They want to call their friend and say, hey, I'm opening another division. Send me someone who's high talented and so I can talk to them. And they stay within their niche because they don't like their time wasted either. So once you can be able to think like an executive and think like a CEO by saying, hey, they want to talk to me. They just don't want their time wasted. And you're able to know the difference between the two. You can walk into a CEO or executive's office and create impact immediately because they can walk in and see this guy's my peer, even though he's not. This guy can scale my company, even though I don't know them. That 15 to 20-second elevator pitch is like the perfect tease to be able to say, the moment they walked out, I want to schedule a call with that guy. Or better yet, I hope they reach out to me on an email or an invitation because if I see their name come across my email or on my computer, I'm connecting simply because that 15 seconds was so empowering. But in order to get the confidence to do so, you have to understand how a CEO wants to connect with you. Not just by walking in there and demanding time, but by walking in and creating value that makes them demand your time.
I love
Once
it.
that's understood, it's a match made in heaven.
So this is a great shift towards what keeps people out of that high self-worth embodiment of that identity that you're saying, you're owning the value, you're going in, you're really got a strategy of how you're going to handle this interaction. You have the strategic thinking. You've also got an awareness of your value and a level of certainty to show up that way. Most people aren't there. Let's be real. Most people are in like a toxic work environment and they're not being seen, they're not empowered, they're being micromanaged, they're being constantly told they're not doing enough no matter how much they do. They're asked to do 2 jobs, they're being taken advantage of, and it's like you start to internalize all this stuff from your environment and it eats away at your psyche where you don't even know your worth anymore, and this is sadly an epidemic because so many executives are operating from ego and taking people's power away instead of empowering their people. And so that's why a part of why we wanted to create this program on career elevation so you could get your power back. But how do you overcome that kind of environment so you can get back to your confidence and owning your value?
Absolutely. So, Furry Vault is obviously a phenomenal company that focuses on the mindset piece. But there's a discipline that exists within that confidence that you have to feed every single day because toxicity brings birth to more toxicity. It doesn't get better over time. It's a downward boulder that just is on its way to absolutely crush people and crush teams. So the biggest thing that is so important to be able to understand is the fact that how you see yourself first always dictates how others see you, regardless of what you're told. What we are doing with career elevation is being able to understand the facts that people getting taken advantage of and toxicity and toxic leaders and so forth, creating more difficult environments are things that you can't control. You cannot control other people, but what you can do is you can take an environment and learn how to use it to your advantage. And when you're able to know how to utilize a toxic work environment or difficult leaders and so forth to your advantage, your power and confidence goes at a new level that you'll never be able to understand again because you're able to take challenges and feel them to understand what they mean and how to use them in order to grow, whether it's the business and monetary value or whether it's yourself and your presence as a leader. But those connections stay with you wherever you go, whether your current company or the next one, because your mind is now geared to see obstacles as opportunities. And when you connect with that piece, CEOs are gravitated to that energy. They're gravitated to that culture because you are an independent that they want to partner with in addition to hire.
I think this is a key point. I'm really glad you hit on it. And it's that emotional intelligence and emotional resilience where you don't allow the environment to determine your mindset, belief, and identity, because leaders are supposed to be the ones setting the energy and the vision and the strategy. And if you're allowing that toxicity, which let's face it, most people are BNC players. So if you're surrounding yourself with that, when I was in the corporate world, I went to lunch with people 3 levels ahead of me, and I would go, and not the people at my level. And that was a strategy because everything is a choice, and we're choosing where we're putting our energy and if there's strategy or intention or there's not. But that's your choice, and you gotta get your power back and be intentional about what you're choosing to focus on, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing that's also been very, very true that I've shared with so many individuals, regardless of the company or where I'm at, is the fact that when you're able to get to a point where every experience is something that you learn from, then you're able to walk into a very difficult environment and be excited to take something away from it. Sometimes the most powerful things you take away is you look at a leader or you look at a situation and say, I will never, ever do that to either my team or the financials or whatever it may be. But those lessons are powerful because it creates a reaction that does a changed behavior. And when you get to that point in the growth mindset, you can see yourself being a very different leader in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. And it continues to evolve because you've addressed that root cause already.
So I'd like to kind of shift into a more tactical part of the conversation, because you and I have been talking for like the last few weeks. Just every Saturday, guys, we meet and we talk about this concept of executive presence and why it's such a gap and why so many people are missing those gaps and shifts to really. It's one thing to logically know, yeah, I'm an executive, I'm worth 150. It's another thing to become the person that not only can own that value, but command it and make the kind of impact and influence to be paid that and to actually be seen for that. So that's why we created this program. But Ryan, I'd love for you to give us just a high level breakdown of, what is all that we came up with to close these gaps? What are those key competencies? Just so people have an idea, because they're not even aware, because no one's really focused on teaching these things.
Yeah, absolutely. So to quote yourself, Olivia, is the fact that sometimes people don't necessarily move forward until they see the entire staircase versus just the first couple of steps in front of them. And what this is the fact that there is a major gap between mid-level management and executive management. And that gap between the two requires different tangibles that are very important to know how to understand and practice and become part of your core leadership, but they're not really taught in businesses because mid-level management, if we're very transparent, is often the most important role in a company because it's the highest level of management that you're making the money on. So it's very difficult to want to promote those strong mid-level managers to executive because you don't want to lose the glue that's driving the revenue. So with this program, what we're able to do is create 8 specific phases that are very key to be able to understand what an executive looks like without losing your roots and knowing how to make money for the business. It's taking all of your applications as a mid-level manager and elevating them so that way your mindset and brand is at the executive level with a connection to processes and pinpoints that know how to be able to drive monetary value for the company. So what it does is it provides exercises, teachings, undocumented examples on everything that mid-level managers are currently experiencing in the workforce today, and then how to elevate them to the next level with practical opportunities to practice taking what they're currently seeing and elevate it to an executive type mindset. And then in addition, what we're doing is creating coaching sessions that allow one-on-one times to specifically focus on you, whether it's the exercises themselves from the curriculum or it's your current position in the workforce, whatever it may be. That's committed time to focus on how you, as the client or the individual, can practice elevating to an executive brand. So when those opportunities arrive, you are the front runner for success.
Thank you so much. And guys, for the next week and a half, we're looking for just 10 beta members that want to be our founding first members before we even launch this program. And we're giving you a special crazy discount because what we're looking for from these 10 folks is really giving us feedback, filling out survey, right? And then once you go through this transformational experience, giving us a testimonial video at the end, assuming, we were able to deliver for you. But would really love for you to email me at olivia@careerevolve.com if you're interested in being one of these 10 founding members. We are going to be launching publicly to the rest of this list and audience later this month when that early bird opportunity will be gone. So make sure you email me if you're interested. I'd be happy to share some more details with you. And we're going to be giving a lot more content this whole month regarding this because it is an epidemic where so many talented people are just not being seen and leveraged and valued and even being utilized for what they bring to the table. So if that's you, keep tuning in. We're going to be sharing a lot of insight. And if you'd like to be an early bird again for the Career Elevations program, just email me, olivia@careerevolved.com. And thank you again.
Your hub for transformation to unlock your maximum potential while living aligned. Remember, it's not just about dreaming, it's about doing. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with someone who needs it, and keep showing up for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and in alignment with who you really are.